Hello, and welcome back to another Off the Shelf. As you can see, there are shelves. And this book is off of them. This is not, in fact, the book we read, though, technically. So, what the fuck?
I did not want to give sanctity to that.
Sit your ass back down, bitch. And get in frame. Tall fucker. Anyways, this week I had Nick Dak read Boys Over Flowers, or Hana Yori Dango. A series with which he was already familiar for once.
Yeah, I actually watched the Japanese drama version of it back when I was taking a Japanese class in high school.
And I showed you at least one episode of the Korean drama version of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I do not have volume 1 of this. I actually don't have volumes 1 through 4. I have 5 through 15. And that's because this is yet another series that is out of print in the US, in the English publication. It's no longer being released for print, so the only way that you can find copies is used, basically. I bought all of my copies used at a used bookstore near me, and it's actually got the sticker for a different used bookstore on the front, so somebody else bought these used as well, and then resold them.
Or you could just take a nice little trip down to Tortuga.
Jesus fucking Christ. Rude! Yes, I did tell you to go find the first 5 chapters. I did not specify where, only that they could be found. But yeah, so the interesting thing about this is we have many drama adaptations of this. Like, this is a very, very famous series in Asia. There is a Japanese adaptation, Hana Yori Dango. There's a Korean adaptation, Boys Over Flowers. I believe there's also a Taiwanese adaptation.
I think the Korean adaptation is actually the most famous version of this.
The Korean adaptation is the most famous version, I think it's just called Boys Over Flowers. And it is available on Netflix, I think, right now. It is on one of the streaming services. It's Netflix or Hulu. I'm not entirely sure because I watched it before it was available for streaming. In Tortuga.
They have really good bookstores there.
They have
and really good used DVD stores there.
They have really good stores there. You'll find everything you need to find there. Anyways, so the first book is just the first 5 chapters, for those of you who are wondering, perhaps, when you must read chapter by chapter. Although the actual first book does contain like a little extra anecdote, like a side story that's not related to like the actual.
Yeah, we didn't end up reading that.
No, I didn't have you read it because I wasn't sure it would be included on any sites. So
it was there. I did see it.
Oh, okay. So it was there. We just didn't read it. It's fine. So the basic plot line of this is that we have a heroine, Tsukushi Makino, right? And she is the daughter of a dry cleaner. Like, her family runs a dry cleaning business. And she's dropping off dry cleaning to this really, really expensive private school, where the children of billionaires, basically, in Japan go. And she stops this kid from killing himself. And gets a scholarship to the school, and her parents are like, you need to go, this could really help us, you need to make like contracts with the students, which that's never gonna happen, but like, you know, her family's delusional. It's fun. And there's a group of boys called F4. F4. And basically what happens is, like, they are... One of them, the leader, Domyoji Tsukasa, like, their family basically owns the school and, like, is, like, all of the businesses in Japan. I swear to fucking God, the way that they play this off. It's like he owns Japan. And his 3 friends, who just basically suck his dick all the time, metaphorically.
I mean, they kind of do. They also get some pretty big indications that, no, they can get sick of his shit, too, pretty early on.
Yeah. But basically the 4 of them walk around, and when they're not given proper respect, or when like an accident happens or someone disrespects them, they leave an F4 card in their locker, and it's basically a sign for the entire school to viciously bully them until they either leave the school or kill themselves.
That's why the kid was killing himself at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, commits psychological torture and violation of the Geneva Convention Acts until these kids leave. And sometimes it's for, like, really, really stupid, like, pedantic fucking reasons.
Well, this time it was for a straight-up accident. Like, they just fell down the stairs and accidentally fell into one of them.
Yeah, like, this kid fell down the stairs, accidentally messed up, I think it was Domyoji's outfit, and he was like, guess you're gonna die now.
Except our main character girl steps in and takes his attention from her friend who fell.
Yeah. And shenanigans ensue. Also, she's a fucking weed. That's what, like, she calls herself, and that's what the others call her sometimes. And it's because she, like, doesn't take his shit. Like, they're doing all this bullying, and she's just like, what the fuck ever. Like, grow up, you rich assholes.
They make it pretty clear, though, that they don't tend to go as hard on the female or the woman as they do the men. The only reason they went as hard against her is because she was
taken in.
Yeah.
And, like, fighting back. Yeah.
And that's probably because the women have their own thing going on as you get towards the end.
Yeah, the women have their own, like, social isolation and you know, that kind of thing happening.
Food. Glorious food.
Food. Anyways, so... yeah, that's the premise of this series, and it is a rom-com. Although, I wonder if maybe that's the best genre. I actually have this in the hat, and I very specifically hunted for the correct episode to make sure I could fit until, like, a very specific and brutal part of the story happens. Because I desperately wanted to include it in our first submission, and I will get to, so I'm very excited.
It's a rom-com, yeah, but you don't really get that sense early on.
You don't really get a whole lot of comedy or romance early. Like, it's really just sad and depressing and mean.
Which is why I really liked this one.
And like, here's the thing, right? We talked about the dramas, and it's so funny. I've mentioned this before, but I swear to God, China, Korea, and Japan have very different... what types of drama are popular are very different between those three, and thus the way that the dramas are created is very different. Like, the Japanese dramas are always funnier, like, they put more emphasis on the comedy. The Korean ones always focus on the interpersonal drama, like their dramatic romance, like the he said this and I misconstrued it, and oh my god, he doesn't truly love me, you know. And then the Chinese ones are just... they stick pretty close to the original source material, I've often found. You know? Like, sometimes they modify it for, like, ages or locations and stuff. But they stick pretty close to the general source material. But I personally enjoy the Japanese drama the best. It is a struggle for me to get through the Korean one. It's just too dramatized.
From what I remember the Japanese drama, it retained that aspect of... yeah, her really pushing back is kind of funny because they aren't expecting it. They really kept that intact. I don't remember much about the one episode I watched. Was it the Korean or the Chinese one?
Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So you liked this?
Yes. In fact, I had to stop myself from reading further. I almost did, but then I was like, no. I need to start prepping more not off the shelves, more Seki Reacts.
Guess what that means? We're gonna be continuing this series, ladies and gentlemen.
At some point.
Yeah.
We've said the same about it. Like, we said the same about Bakuman.
Yeah, but I don't own any more Bakuman, so we'd
Well, you don't own the next book of this one either.
Yes, but Bakuman is available outside of Tortuga. This is not. Thereby making this much easier. Plus, once we get up to book 4, I do have the next 10 volumes.
Actually, I think Viz Media has the digital versions on their site.
Yeah, but for purchase. I don't buy digital manga. That's a personal preference. I have all of Host Club on Nook, and I don't like digital. I don't really like owning digital copies of the books. It just makes them hard to access, you know? I like just being able to, like, pull it off my shelf, so, you know. But yeah.
A One Piece fan right here.
Okay, fuck it. It's up there. You can't see it. That's deliberate, but it's up there. But that does mean that eventually we will be continuing this. I'm not gonna I don't force you to read series that you don't like feel attached to after the beginning. But if you liked it, that means we can continue it, because honestly, I have not read the manga all the way through. I've read up to volume 15 where I have, but I've not read past that. I have seen all of the Japanese drama, though. And I have seen all of the Korean one, although it was a struggle. I did not finish the Taiwanese one. But, okay, so this is a solid, like, 1990s, 2000s shoujo.
You can see the age in the art a little bit.
You can see the age in the art. This also, so a lot of times I talk about this in Hanakimi, in kind of the same breath, because they both have a lot of drama adaptations, and they're both that very 2000s, 90s, like, shoujo with like very contrived scenarios leading to eventual romance between the main characters and love triangles, because this does have a love triangle in it technically, although it's unrequited on it's messy. Anyways, both of those are pretty quintessentially shoujo, but of the two of them, this is the one that has an anime. So this actually has an old anime.
I think where this one stood apart for me from previous rom-coms we've done is it is still a fairly contrived scenario, but at the same time the contrived scenario is more to add drama than it is to create romance, whereas the contrived scenarios for something like Hanakimi or even Fruits Basket, those are kind of contrived in a way that are meant to create more of a situation for a romance to start, which for me is just a lot less interesting.
Whereas here, I will say that going forward, the relationship, at least between Makino and Tsukasa, evolves very much unwillingly on both of their parts. Like, this is not purposeful. It's not like Hanakimi where, she likes him. This is not like Fruits Basket where, like, there's, like, a burgeoning romance on both sides, right? No. That's not what's happening here. And it's very obvious. And it's actually kind of great because of that. I have to admit, I do like the kind of hate relationship that develops throughout the, like, for all intents and purposes, like, it's so funny that, like, low-key, he is so focused on her, and it's just because she won't give him the time of day. Like, this boy has never had someone go up to him and say, "Fuck you, I don't care who you are. Goodbye."
I can't wait till we see his sister.
Oh.
We can't talk about it here, but I remember her.
I love his sister so much. So much! Alright. Well, we're gonna go for now, and you guys are gonna see whatever comes up next on Off the Shelf or on the channel.
I don't know where we're at. What came before us? What's coming after us?
Yeah, I don't remember either, but we will be back.
With something.
Rest assured, we will be back. Like, comment, subscribe.